Hello, my fellow skateboarders, longboarders, and freelance skaters. This is Srinivasan. I'm a fine art photographer, a distance skater, and a small-time freelance skater. I do bicycling as cross-training. This is only for people who are watching it for the very first time, coming for this interview series. And who we have here is a wonderful distance skater, such a veteran in my knowledge. I've been speaking with him, and he friended me, kind enough to friend me on Facebook, and we have had good chats. I have seen his distance skating videos, his riding thing, and everything. It's incredibly impressive. What he does in his place. So he's Mr. Alexandre Bangnoi. Vanakkam, sir. Welcome to this interview series. And he's a distance skater, and he used to work for La Poste in France. And yes. He's an extremely good sprinter. As in my observation, I've seen him ride Paris, glide through Paris like a phoenix bird. Such a great person. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for the kind words. It's a lot for me, but that's okay.
You are so modest, sir. You are so modest. That's all I can say.
What do you want to know?
Yes, sir. Yes,
feel free to ask me.
Thank you. We'll jump into the questions right away. For people like me, I did not know longboard for a long time. Like over 35 or 37 years, I didn't know longboard existed in my life. I started skating only by 37. And I can understand you've been skating for a very long time, even before my knowledge about skating or through longboard or any other forms of skating. So there are more people like me who would like to know about your extremely wide career or sort of practice in distance skating. So, sir, kindly introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself for newcomers like me.
Yes. Well, I'm 55 years old.
Wow.
I learned to skate in the 70s in Paris, in a very famous spot next to Eiffel Tower, which is called the Trocadero. Okay. And I used to go downhill just for fun with my father, and my sister, and in Paris. And it was around 76, 77, around these years, 75. And I remember, yes, I had a crappy plastic skateboard. And I remember that I was trying to go as fast as possible. Maybe was it the beginning of my distance pushing career? I don't know. Okay. And then, as we did not have a lot of money in my family, I could not buy a very good skateboard, so I stopped doing skateboarding. And it was around age 35 years old that I bought a surfing magazine, surfing review. And they was talking about longboarding and about the rebirth of longboarding. And then I was in Spain on vacations, and I went to a big retail store, and I saw a longboard, an exposition longboard. And I asked the seller if I could buy it. He told me that no, that it was a exposition longboard. But finally, I managed to buy it for very, very little amount, like maybe 50 or 40 euros only. Oh. And then I began to go skateboarding everywhere in Paris with it. Mm-hmm. But just commuting and having fun, uphill, downhill. At that time, I was only able to push with one leg. I'm goofy, and I was always pushing with one leg. So I began to think that would be cool if we would be able to push with both legs, because it would be more natural, more logical. Mm. And then I searched on internet, and I discovered an American guy that nobody knows, almost nobody knows, an American guy who works as an archaeologist. His name is Duke Dupin from Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy went commuting from home to his workplace on longboard, and he was able to push with both legs. And he used to use his longboard as a commuter, and he was very efficient. And then I realized that it was possible. Then what did I do? I went to the Trocadero next to the Eiffel Tower, which is a downhill or uphill, whichever way you take it.
Mm-hmm.
And I began to ride it uphill with my unusual leg, with the leg I was not used to, so to make it stronger and to learn the balance. And after 1 or 2 weeks, I was able to push with both legs.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I was very glad. And then I began commuting and making my pushing technique better,
mm-hmm.
so as to have a better balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I began to commute a lot, even more, and make long rides in Paris.
Okay.
Because now I was able to push with both legs. And around 2007, 2008, I saw that the British guys did take part in the roller skating marathon, and they were allowed to do it
mm-hmm.
with a longboard.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened in a very famous racetrack in England, the Goodwood racetrack, which is very famous. You can check it. It's called Goodwood,
mm-hmm.
next to Chichester,
mm-hmm.
in UK, in England.
Mm.
And I saw that many Brits did some skates, and at that time that was quite the record was 2 hours and maybe 2 or 5 minutes for a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And the Brits told themselves that it would be very difficult to go under 2 hours, but it's now very doable. And then I took part in the next year. I went to England, and I took part maybe in 2008 or 2009. I don't remember well, in this Goodwood roller skating marathon, okay. Organized by the Camberley skaters, and it was a lot of fun. And I was I wanted to do under 2 hours, but I did 2 hours and a few minutes more the first year, and
wow,
it was a very good beginning. And very good vibrations, a lot of friendship, and then I met another fellow distance skateboarder,
mm-hmm.
which began with many more, like Nat Halliday, mm-hmm. Christopher Valentin,
mm-hmm.
And Tim Pritchard, the guy from Pritchard Skate Designs, the guy who designs footstops in
mm-hmm.
England.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I had a lot of fun taking part in racing, because my background is I'm a chess player.
Wow.
And as a chess player, I took part in many tournaments and competitions. Mm-hmm. So, and it's the same with playing chess or tennis or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you play tennis, you can find a lot of competitions for amateurs, for beginners. Yeah. And then I always thought that it should be the same with distance skateboarding. There should be a lot of races, 5-kilometer races, 10-kilometer, 20 marathons, and more. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went, because I like competition, not to say I'm the best, not that, just for fun. Because with competition, I have to fight against myself and against the others, and they help me to get better. Awesome. That's why I like racing. Beautiful. That's the reason. Because I have to train, I have to get better, and even if I finish last, I don't care. The point is, go to the max, do the maximum. That's awesome. That's a little. This is the spirit I was in.
That's awesome, sir. When you said like 1970s or 1976, I wonder if they introduced polyurethane wheels by then, or like they came later in 1980s.
Yes, yes, yes. It was a very good improvement in the longboarding gear, of course, and then the longboards and the skateboards were much faster and much comfortable. That's for sure. Yes. But the issue is that between the 70s and the 90s, when I have totally forgotten skateboarding.
Oh.
So because I was doing chess and a little bit of boxing. So that's as I told you, it's because I read a review about longboarding that I bought a cheap longboard and I began to commute, and then I began to take part in races.
That's awesome. So that's really impressive. We kids are like, even I am 37, I categorize as a newcomer, but like we are more gifted with new gears actually, with high technology. Yes. But in those days, to begin with longboarding and to do commuting for long distances takes a different spirit. That's inspiring, actually. Thank you,
yes,
sir. Thank you.
In those days, it had to be quite much harder, because nowadays the decks are lower, the wheels are better, the tracks are more stable, everything is better. So, although it could be still better, but the gear is very good right now, and there's a lot of choice. So yes, I think it's only the beginning of long distance pushing and long distance pumping. Unfortunately, I'm 55 years old, because I would like the sport to be mainstream. Because I would like to see racing everywhere in the world, and as well as with running or cycling or inline skating.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
For my taste, unfortunately, it's a niche sport. I don't care about being one of the only few that does LDP. I don't care. I would like to be able to do a race here in Spain next week, for example, and within 2 weeks more, and everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, there are too few races, not enough for me, for my taste.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Sir, I happen to interact with the young entrepreneur of MK Longboards owner, Miss Lena Meringdal, and
yes.
She suggested me one question to ask you. As in, you do intermittent fasting, it seems. So, what are your food habits, and how do you fast to keep your athletic spirit active?
I try to make at most 2 meals a day, but I try to make 1 meal a day.
Wow.
But I'm not that as disciplined as I should be. Because, intermittent fasting is very good. I feel good, but I should eat less carbs, I think. And I eat too much carbs, too much rice, too much pasta. And it's not that good. But yes, 1 meal a day is more than enough, or 2 meals a day. And the importance is to eat good fats, like avocados, good cheese, natural cheese, and good proteins, and a lot of vegetables. But I'm not that serious, actually. I'm not that disciplined always. So sometimes, and this winter I have gained a little bit of weight, unfortunately, because staying too much on the couch and watching TV shows and shit like that. So it's easy to get to gain weight again, unfortunately. So I'm gonna try to weight a little bit more weight. But another condition is it's very important when I don't smoke, and I almost never drink alcohol.
Wow, that's inspiring.
It's not very complicated, but it's obvious that without these things, you are better. You do better. That's just obvious. Everyone knows it. But I just have the luck to do not have the habit. That's it. Just matter of luck.
Awesome.
And very important also is to sleep well, to have a very good sleep, because when you sleep well, you develop the growth hormone, and everywhere, and it's very useful to lose weight and to rebuild your muscles and everything. It's there's no secret. Everything is very simple. But the truth is that we eat too much. One meal a day, one balanced meal a day should be enough. But it's difficult, not from it is difficult, not from a body point of view. It's difficult from the mind, because we are used to pleasure. Everywhere around us, they tell, hey, eat this, it's good, eat this, drink this. It's more the core of pleasure that is very difficult to fight, Yeah. So this is because actually in our rich countries, we don't feel that much hunger, almost never actually. But we feel the need for pleasure. So yes, intermittent fasting is good. It's very useful because we eat too much often, and but it's a pity to break it with some sugary stuff. But it's difficult to resist. That's it. There's no secret.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. So, how does working with Francis Laposte kind of helped you with distance skating?
Well, I will say that the main working as a mailman for the time being is a privilege in France, because I begin at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm supposed to finish my day at 1 p.m. 45 in the afternoon, and most of times I finish around noon. So I have a lot of time I have mostly all my afternoons are free. So this gain of time is very good, because I can spend time in the afternoon as I want, and I only wake up at 6 a.m., which is not very soon, but it's not very soon. So, and the other little thing that helps me, but not much, is that as a French mailman, we work a lot. We are a lot standing up. We are very seldom sitting on chairs and chairs.
Okay.
Most of times we are walking and standing up. So it's better for health, and it helps us. It helps us to lose a little bit of weight. That's logical. But apart from that, it doesn't. There's not much because there's not much more benefits, because we have electric bicycles, and anyone can ride an electric bicycle. It's quite easy. But yes, the two main factors is finishing soon my day, so I have the whole afternoon, and it allows me to go to train during the whole afternoon. And if I am not too lazy, which is way more, which is quite hard these days, and working a lot as a mailman helps me a little bit, because it's better for health. No, nothing extraordinary, but that's better than sitting at a desk all day. This is not very good for health, to sitting in front of a computer at a desk. We know it.
Yeah, you actually bash every millennial kid right now. Like 6 a.m. is midnight for us. So
yes, the new habits are not very good for health.
Yes,
because
exactly.
we used to spend hours on the sofas playing PlayStations, watching Netflix and everything, and of course that's. And me too. I admit that I'm lazy also. I'm getting more lazy, and these aren't good habits for sports or for health.
We'll take
have to
it,
fight.
we'll take it as a learning.
No, it's just a matter of common sense.
Mm.
If we use common sense, we all understand that. There's nothing, no secret, no big deal.
Thank you. Sure, I have seen you doing some stand-up paddling on the sea.
Yes.
So do you like stand-up paddling? Have you tried street stand-up paddling?
Well, I like a lot stand-up paddling on the sea because I have taken on surfing a few years ago.
Wow.
Because on the Mediterranean, the issue that there was two issues. It was only during vacations. And second big issue, they are quite seldom good waves on the Mediterranean.
Okay.
So
please have some water if you need me.
No, I'm fine. So I did not have the time to improve my technique and to become a very good surfer.
Okay.
That's why I took on stand-up paddling.
Okay.
Because it's easier to catch the waves with the paddle.
Oh.
Because I do stand-up paddling as a surfer.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a short stand-up paddle board and it's used for surfing. So because I like surfing, that's it. And I would like to do racing. The issue is that I don't live next to the sea, so it will be. I would buy 1,000 or 2,000 euros racing the paddle board, but to use it maybe once a year or twice a year. So, and moreover, it takes a lot of place, so it would be useless. Yeah. So, for the time being, I just go when I can surfing, and that's why I go stand-up paddling on the water, because it's easier for me to take waves to go surfing. And about land stand-up paddling, well, the little issue is that I like too much LDP. Because I like the simplicity. I like the simplicity of pushing and pumping.
Awesome.
And I don't need. That's why the more simple, the more efficient, the more I like it. And I don't need a paddle. So I respect people who do that, who are doing it. It's not a part of LDP. No worries, no problem. But I'm not attracted to it. And this is another trait of my personality. Is that if there were races, maybe I'll get into it, just for the fun of racing against others with a land stand-up paddling.
Okay.
But most of people do it on their own, mostly to travel and to hike, to do a longer promenade, to do so. Yes, it's cool, but I like it when you do a sport and that you have to go to the max. So there are no races for the time being, unfortunately, in land stand-up. If there were races, that would be cool. That would be fun to see. You know, maybe into it just for the fun of it, just for the fun of competition. Even if I finish last, I don't care. Maybe, but on my own. Moreover, it's something more that you have to carry. But for me, it's a little bit of a hassle. I like the most simpler, the simplest, the better for me. I'm not telling that I'm right. That's my taste.
Cool. Yeah, it's understandable. Awesome. So there is a race called South Beach Bomb in Miami. It's a illegal sort of race for stand-up paddling. You know, street stand-up paddling. Cool. You've been part of. You was there? Oh.
I didn't know, but I didn't know that it was only for stand-up paddling. I thought that it was for all kinds of LDP, but only for stand-up paddling. Are you sure, or everyone?
Actually, it's a mix sometimes. You know, like cyclo something is there, wherein like they allow cycles, no, all non motorized transport to go from point A to point B, sort of.
I took part in it around 2013 or 2014 when I took part in my first or second Miami Ultra Skate.
Okay.
And there was the
DJ Pascal.
Miami Southbound Beach did happen. Then yes, I took part in it. Yes, and I don't remember seeing stand-up paddling, but maybe there was. But they usually stand at the end of the race because they don't want to cause an accident to both of the other pushers. Okay. But yes, that was fun. I remember. But that wasn't that much illegal. Because the cops did said nothing, so awesome. That was okay.
That's good. Awesome, sir. Sir, I happened to read your Instagram ID name, which says like atheist animal. So, can you say something about that?
Well, it's a little bit provocative, because actually right now I'm more of a agnostic than atheist. Because I'm gonna try to be as short and simple as possible. Okay? It seems that the universe has an order. Is a mathematically irrationally ordered from a physical point of view. If you check the Fibonacci numbers, you can see them in the nature, and you realize that it's a kind of order. So I'm not scientist, I'm not physicist, but it seems that there is some kind of natural order, but I am unable to explain it. I don't know why this order exists. Is it because of luck, as would say Einstein or some others, or Niels Bohr? It's just a matter of luck that everything gets organized by nature. I think it is something like that. But still, I cannot explain this order. So that's why I would say more agnostic. But atheist also because, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm smart a lot of the people. It doesn't fit with my just common sense. It doesn't fit. And because also the people are, it's natural, afraid of death. So we are afraid of dying. We are afraid of disappearing. It's a pain in the ass. But that's the way we have to cope with it, and to hope that there's something after death, that we will survive. It's just common sense explanations to me. So this is for atheists. And about animal, well, I might sound like a hypocrite, but I try to be vegetarian. I try to be vegetarian, and not vegan, but vegetarian, because honestly, what we do to animals, it's very cruel. So it's quite selfish and cruel what we do to animals. But I do not, having been raised in France and Spain and eating a lot of sausages and everything, finally I don't have the strength, the moral and mental strength to resist the temptations. So I try to. I know that we are selfish, we meat eaters, but it's difficult to resist for us, for me, the temptations. So it's complicated. That's why. But, and atheist animal, because I don't really believe in some supreme, some God, any God. And I have no shame in admitting that I'm also an animal. I'm a close cousin to the monkeys. I think it's not despective what I'm going to say. I think that we are very evolved monkeys. That's it. And I'm not mocking myself. That seems to me like a plain fact. That's just another matter. One more time of common sense.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for taking time to, let us know like what it actually means to you. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you, sir. And so, what kind of board setup you prefer? What do you like? Top mount or bracketed boards?
I like dropped boards.
Okay.
The ones that are close to the ground because they are way easier to push. Bracket boards are very good also for bush pumping and pushing. They're very good.
Good.
So I like both.
Okay.
But I favor lightness and efficiency.
So you prefer pushing more than pumping?
Yes, because I began as a pusher. I think that I have a good pushing technique, pushing with both hands and everything.
Okay.
And I can break with both feet too. So yes, and I like when I push fast, I like the feeling of power. When I'm sprinting, I like to feel the power in each of my kicks. There's some pleasure I found in it. Some primitive maybe pleasure, but I like it a lot. And that's the feeling, wherever it is uphill or on the flats, I like the feeling of, I like to feel my body work good. That's what I feel when I'm pushing. Pumping is good too, but I need to get a better technique and better gear. And the issue with me is that I'm very lazy with gear, with changing bushings and everything, and tinkering. I'm a little bit lazy. I like it simple, like plug and play stuff. That's my issue. But yes, pumping is very efficient. I've been beaten by pumpers, but very good pumpers. Yes, I reckon that both are very good, very efficient. For an ultra skate, for a 24 hours race, I think it's the winners are the ones that do both, pumping and because doing a 24 hours race ultra skate only pushing is very tough. It's very tough on your knees, on your back, on everything. After 10 hours, 12 hours, you begin to feel some pain in the knees, in the ankles, and the backs, and so. If you can use different muscles when pumping, it's very useful. You can rest some muscles and use other ones, and then that's why I think the best ones, the winners, are mostly the guys that do both. So that's the secret to 200 square skates. I think maybe I'm wrong, but that's the feeling I have.
Thanks for that nice observation. It's going to help people definitely. Sir, what kind of board would you recommend? For a big size rider.
Yes. Well, a very big size and a very tall guy, a tall, heavy guy. I think the Landyachtz EVO.
36 or 40?
The big one, the 40.
Okay, thank you.
Because if for a guy that will be 6 feet and more tall, very good number because it would suit his height and if he has the muscles, he will push it quite easily and it's quite low. Also, I've not tried it, but the Zenith brand, the Zenith drop decks are very good seemingly. I would say these decks, they look very good. It would be a good choice. Right now, I have bought and I use the Pantheon Supersonic. It's very fun.
Hybrid.
It's very good, but I think that maybe for tall guys, maybe I'm wrong. I think for tall guys, maybe it's a little bit short. The standing platform is a bit short.
Okay.
Maybe if it was 1 inch longer, would it be better for tall guys? But I can be wrong because Jeff Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
the guy owns the brand, can ride it easily, and he's close to 6 feet tall. And Paul Kent has been riding it on video, and he was doing quite well. So maybe is it good too? The Pantheon Supersonic for tall guys, maybe is it good? For a heavy guy, I would take the 8 plies, of course, the thicker. And but I think the Zenith longboard, the one which is dropped, I don't remember the name. The
AZ?
A to Z.
AZ?
Maybe, yes, this one I think. AZ.
The hybrid?
AZ.
Okay.
Yes. That one should work fine, I think. Yeah. I have another habit is I used to find these longboards a little bit too wide for pushing. So sometimes I take them to a carpenter, and I ask the carpenter to reduce the wideness, so to take 1 centimeter each side, so that it is easier to push, more natural pushing, because your feet are not too separated one from another, and it makes it a little bit lighter, but it's not mandatory. So your taste.
Okay.
But I can make another observation from this point of view, is that good pushing must be as close to natural running.
Okay.
You know? When you run, your feet are not wide apart.
Yes.
They are as close to one to another as possible.
Yes.
They are in the line of your hips.
Yes.
So it should be the same for pushing. Good pushing, you must be pushing. Your pushing must be as close and as close to natural running and sprinting. So that's why I take my boards to carpenters and I ask the guys to reduce the wideness.
Okay.
Was one of my tips. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's That's how
customization ideas actually. I haven't heard it from people doing that so far. So this is awesome. Thank you. It's a learning for me too. So what is your preferred size of wheel? As in like
right now, I bought. I know you know the Pantheon Supersonic with the 19 millimeters wheel from Boa, the yellow ones, the Hatchlings. Very good.
Okay.
They're both fast, a little bit heavy, but they are good on the bad roads. They're fast. They're good urethane, good acceleration. They're fine. And 1 month ago, I was using on my personal longboard, on the one with the carbon longboard. I was using the ABEC 11 97 millimeters flywheels.
Okay.
Because quite comfy. But the urethane is a little bit more. It has less rebound.
Okay.
They're a little bit lower. So I think the 19 millimeters Boa Hatchlings are very good. I can come sell them to you. And maybe the new seismic are good too. The new seismic megawatts, as they call them. The 19.
Yeah.
But when racing, I use 80 millimeters or 85 millimeters because it's lighter, and I'm closer to the ground. That's logical.
Okay, that's for the long race, as in like a 24-hour skate or like something like that, or even for a marathon.
85 millimeters or maybe 90.
Okay.
Or depends. It depends a lot on the quality of the race. Okay. If the pavement is very smooth, if the pavement is really good and smooth, you can go to smaller wheels, even 75 millimeters, 76 millimeters.
Okay.
The better the pavement, the smaller wheels you can use. The worse the pavement, better use bigger wheels and softer urethanes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I was learning as well because we don't have much choices of wheels over here in India. it's very new here, so we use what we get. Most of the market stuff that we have is between 70 and 83 and over 70 or electric skateboard wheels. So it's good to know about other brands and other sizes as well. It's helpful.
Electric skateboard wheels, I think the USN seem too soft. They don't seem to have a lot of rebound.
Yeah.
I assume that because they have to grip a lot, because they're a lot of power, so they need to grip. That's why they seem to be a little bit sticky. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of them are good.